Pollution in China by Aislinn Ospina. How China was before pollution. When many of us think about China, we think about how polluted and overpopulated it is. At the same time, China is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, but with great beauty comes with great responsibility. In the past and even today, China is known for being a leader in science and technology. China discovered the 4 great inventions such as papermaking, printing, the compass, and gunpowder. China is a large, beautiful country with great history and knowledge, but it took major commitment for China to be sustainable and become the country it is today. There were many wars in the past that involved China. There were also so many leaders and emperors. China's history was definitely chaotic, but it had reached its peak around the 1980s. China was becoming one of the world's leading producers of coal, light industry, and etc. There was so much new development, and gradually China was changing every single day. New construction was taking place in major cities, and bullet trains were even being established. More factories were being created, and also motor vehicles. This was a great time for China, and everyone's perspective of this country changed in a shocking way. China had developed so fast and changed the whole world while also changing their own country. Although they were succeeding in all this new technology and changing the face of their poor country, all this came with a price. China did not become aware of their environment, therefore many issues had expanded. Main causes of how pollution got worse up until China today. Pollution wasn't a huge issue during the past in China. There were no serious environmental concerns. China didn't use the same materials they use today. They didn't need cars to get around or used advanced technology. Back then, everyone lived the Chinese traditional way. They didn't need washers or dryers to wash clothes. Chinese people even rode in bikes to travel around. But so much things have changed in their society and culture. Nowadays, Chinese people live in a Western lifestyle where everything is fast and given to them. Therefore, because of all this change, new vehicles, bullet trains, and factories were being established. This required high amounts of coal burning and materials that damaged the environment. The burning of coal and large numbers of smoke being blown in the air was enough to unfold air pollution in China. All the pollution in China had a substantial effect on its people, but air pollution is the #1 threat to public health and the entire country of China. It has so many different effects on the weather and the air that people breathe. This year, the air in China was so bad that air blankets of smog completely covered different parts of China. Most of the time, people weren't even allowed to go outside because it could drastically affect their health. Smog is thick, toxic air that circulates around and appears to look very similar to fog. It is actually smoke and fog mixed together that makes this terrible air pollutant. According to statistics, the burning of coal is responsible for most of the air pollution that has developed in China. Nowadays, cities in China have even declared red alerts for severe fog and warned people to not go outdoors. A couple of years ago, smog had the same effect on China that even led to the closing of schools and negatively impacted farmland. Today, smog has gotten much worse, and now it is a daily problem that Chinese people have to face. The surroundings around this city is barely visible because of the enormous amount of air pollution, which is extremely dangerous for anyone to travel around or breathe in. It has even affected major cities such as Beijing, where millions of people visit and reside in. Wearing face masks is more of a necessity in China. Almost everyone in China wears them in order to protect them from the terrible air quality. Breathing this air can damage the lungs, aggravate asthma, and even cause heart attacks. People that work around power plants or industrial coal burning factories have a high amount of risk for death. At least around 85,000 people die due to this reason per year. Not only is this issue affecting China and their people, but it is also taking a huge effect on the entire world. The air pollution is beginning to spread to the Pacific and towards the United States of America. All these percentages and levels in studies for air quality have not shown good results. This is only beginning to affect a part of the world, but air travels all around the world, and it will only take some more years for it to take full effect on all of us. Other forms of pollution in China. On top of having air pollution as the main factor of public health and environmental issues, China has also developed water pollution. China's economy is rapidly growing because of successful factories. More and more factories are being established each year in China, where they are even replacing fields and forests. China gains great wealth by these factories, but unfortunately, they are severely polluting the water resources of China. The primary cause of water pollution in China is chemical dumping from factories. In the image you see here on the slide, more than half of the rivers in the entire country of China has been poisoned hazardous chemicals and industrial wastewater. China's water resources are causing severe water shortages and water scarcity. This is highly dangerous for the residents and visitors of China. It is becoming a problematic issue that has to be taken care of as soon as possible. Toxic chemical dumping is a serious obstacle that China has to resolve fast. It has become a real danger for so many people in China. The rivers in China have become so unsafe for any human contact. More than millions of people in China aren't even allowed to have access to drinking clean water. This is causing insane public health issues and water scarcity for the country. If the people of China are given access to drink water, they are most likely drinking contaminated water. Tap water is safe in most countries, but in China, it is absolutely not drinkable. Even in the biggest popular cities in China, tap water is not safe because the plumbing around the country is old. This is why many citizens in China boil water and drink hot water on a daily basis, since it is their only source of clean water. Factories and toxic chemical dumping are not the only reasons why there is pollution in China. The immense growth of Chinese people has also affected this cause. China's population is so immense that it is now the largest of any country in the world, with a total of around 1.4 billion people. This is a staggering problem for China since it has caused soil pollution. Pesticides and fertilizers used on farmland, pollution from urbanization and waste production are huge factors that led to soil pollution. This is the most neglected form of pollution that has enveloped around China. But this is actually one of the most dangerous towards the public health of the country. Steps to a better future in China. Now that people have realized how serious this matter is, decisions and planning have been in effect. China's government made a huge decision in reducing coal usage and steel production. In order to reduce these important resources for their country, they had to find a way to replace it while not hurting their environment or people's health. They came to the conclusion of investing in wind and solar power. Replacing these resources came with a cost. It risked many people's jobs. Many people around China have been laid off because of the shutdowns of these factories. Although many people understand why it is necessary to do this, it affects their lives negatively, since it is difficult to find a good paying job for low-income families. Many Chinese cities also encourage people to give up their coal-burning stoves and furnaces in their homes. China has been willing to put a lot of money into new renewable energy projects. This year, China is going to spend $360 billion on these projects. Their commitment to stop this pollution from totally destroying their country has definitely reached its peak. Last year, China built the world's biggest air purifier. It was a huge project established by the Institute of Earth Environment. This was designed to help purify and clean air. The tower is about 330 feet tall and is located in Xi'an. It is definitely improving the air quality by sucking in polluted air quality and heating it up with solar energy. Pollution and environmental issues is still an ongoing problem in China today. China still continues to have a long way to go. China is a huge country that will most likely take decades for signs of significant improvements to come along. Overall, China's government is giving it all it can for the country. They are spending billions of dollars and becoming very concerned with the health of people. The government and its people both have to work together in order for real change to happen.